Good afternoon. My name is Belinda Alvarez, and before we begin, I would like to start off with a question. Did you sleep well tonight? Are you getting the right amount of sleep at night? See, some of us might answer yes, of course, because we don't know any better. We may assume that sleeping between 4 to 6 hours a night is enough. For some of us, it might be, but for the others, it's not always the case. I know that I need my 8 hours of sleep in order to be doing good. Dictionary.com defines sleep deprivation as the condition of being robbed of sleep in real life or experiment as opposed to being unable to sleep. Today I'm going to speak to you about what is sleep deprivation, the importance of sleep, and also the right amount of sleep that we need to give ourselves, our minds. Now, we all have daily obligations in our lives that can be a factor of why we are sleep deprived, whether that be a full time job, full time student, our children, our hobbies, sports, any personal activities that we like to do. Those are all key factors that can go into why we become sleep deprived. And we may not even think about it or think that it's an important issue that we don't give ourselves the right amount of sleep. We're like, okay, it's okay. We'll just sleep as many whatever time we could give ourselves and we'll function fine. But again, that's not true. We need to be well rested. That way we can function properly the next day and be fully energized. Now, there are some times where someone may choose to be sleep deprived. For example, maybe a college student, parties or the late night studying or the activities, whatever the case may be, they choose to stay up late. They choose to not give themselves the right time of sleep that they need. Unfortunately, then there's the ones that have the medical conditions that are sleep deprived. I work in the medical field, so I always come across patients who are sleep deprived because of their chronic pains, because of their chronic conditions, aches. It doesn't let them sleep, unfortunately. So they're always up, tossing and turning throughout the night. And because of that, they don't get a good night's sleep. So the next morning, versus waking up energized and full of energy, they're still waking up with the baggy eyes or the excess yawning. And again, it's something that they can control, but it is what it is, unfortunately. And that's one of the things that we also have to keep in mind is getting to know our bodies. If we see that we do have the excess yawning, the baggy eyes, that we can't stay up, can concentrate in our work or whatever the case may be, then we know there's a problem. And that's where we have to kind of look and think and stop and be like, okay, I need to change something. We need to get the right amount of sleep in. I know I'm sometimes guilty of that. I'm going to speak to you about what are some ways to avoid sleep deprivation. For one, and again, I am a big breaker of this, will be the caffeine. Consuming caffeine 4 to 6 hours before bedtime is sometimes not the smartest thing to do because, again, that's just going to wake up your body, wake up your mind. And when it's time for you to lay down and go to sleep, your mind's going to be all over the place. Your body's not going to be ready to go to sleep because of that caffeine intake. So, avoiding caffeine 4 to 6 hours before bedtime is one way to start. Another would be just to maintain a healthy lifestyle, whether that be with exercising, eating right. When it comes to exercising, one of the tips that is recommended is exercising in the morning or mid afternoon. You don't want to do heavy workout sessions or exercising 2 to 3 hours before bedtime because, again, you're going to go to sleep, you're going to lay down, but you're going to be still with the high heartbeat and the bouncing around because of your exercise. You don't want to do that, so you want to avoid that. Now, what is healthy sleeping? How much sleep is needed? One of the things that I like to keep in mind is when I had my child, I had her in a sleeping schedule. My infant, I had her in a sleeping schedule. Well, that's something that we should also keep in mind for ourselves. We need to make it a routine. If 9 o'clock is bedtime, 9 o'clock is bedtime, and just make it an every night kind of thing, make it a routine. That way your body gets used to this, your mind gets used to this, and you give yourself that, again, that time frame of sleep that you need. So again, the next morning you wake up ready to go. Not yawning or sleepy or wishing you could have stayed in bed longer. I'm sorry, age groups is where the key comes in. Usually adults between the ages of 18 to 27 or higher, it is required 8 hours of sleep. When you're younger, it requires more. As you get older, it's always between 7 and 8 hours. But again, for our time frame, or I'm sorry, our age group, between 8 hours of sleep a night is a good thing. That way we can, again, be well rested and full of energy and ready to go on the next day. With and hopefully with all the tips that I've said today, it will help you to get on a good sleeping pattern. That way we can avoid being sleep deprived and just to be informed and educated about this condition. Again, most of us may not even know that we suffer from this just because we all think, oh, it's just life. It's my heavy schedule, my heavy workload. But we just need to stop for a minute, really see what the problem is or what's causing you all this stress and just really give yourself the rest that we need. That way we can be good again for ourselves the next day and for everybody else, be energized, and I think overall just to be healthy as well. If we're healthy, everything's good, we're happy, life is great. I hope you learned something from my little post today. And that will be all for today. Thank you so much. Have a good day.